Every time. I'm sideways. She's so cute in that outfit. I'll show you. It's so cute in the, she looks so cute in that outfit, and she's still wearing that outfit. Yep. I do not. Oh, that's my my board, my drawing board I use. No, no, no. I'm done. Done. No, done. Oh, let's start again. It happens sometimes. Good morning. It's devotion time. I'm Michelle. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us that day our daily bread, as we forgive those. No. Give us this day our daily bread. Oh boy. Let's just read this one. Okay. My Kindle's dead. Hold on, hold on. I'm trying to get the chat up. Father in heaven, may your name be kept holy. May your kingdom come soon. May your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today the food we need, and forgive us our sins. That's what it was. As we have forgiven those who sin against us, and don't let us yield to temptation, but rescue us from the evil one. Well, let me get the chat up over here. Go lay down. Good girl. Yes, you good girl. Lay down. I don't know what she's trying to do over here. Um, let's see what she wants. Maybe it's an emergency, right?
Pray for two things. One, can you pray for Jen's mom? She's having hip surgery today for hip replacement. And two, can you pray for me and Danny today as we unload the truck?
Oh, yeah.
Let everything go well and just let this move be completed with everything going well and be completed with just having a good day. Hopefully not raining and just let it go well.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. That's why I played it for everybody. I just had a feeling It was for today, so I'm gonna reread that, reread that because I'm pressing the wrong thing. All right, see, this iPad is different, so um,
Why would you call anyone else after a car accident?
it does not get no update. So, hey, Carol, let's reread that. Our Father, which in heaven, may your name be kept holy. May your kingdom come soon. May your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today the food we need, and forgive us our sins, as we have forgiven those who. And don't let us yield to temptation, but rescue us from the evil one. Jehovah, please help Tiffany and her boyfriend unload the truck fairly easy today. Let it go easy so they can complete it. And please don't let it rain. And please help Jennifer's mother who's having hip surgery. Please let that go well. Let everything be done correctly. Let the surgeons in attendance and everybody that's there to do the surgery on Jennifer's mom be let them be alert and know what they're doing and don't botch it. And continue to help Tate, Cindy Lee, Lisa, Shannon Doherty, King Charles, Princess Kate, and Shannon, who all have cancer in different stages. And Tate has a heart condition. And Celine Dion has stiff person syndrome. Please give them all mental and physical strength to fight off their diseases. Please help Christina, who has health issues with her heart as well. Please help. Jenny's doing good. Yep, Jenny's doing good. Just help her mother get through the surgery. Tiffany, like I said, help her and Danny unload the truck before it rains and let it be a good day. Help Robin through her ailments that she has, mainly her pain, and let the colonoscopy when she has to have it redone, um, let it come out negative. Miss Diane and daughters, Vicky, Arnie, Vicky and family, Carol and her mom, please help them. In the name of Jesus, amen. Get them out now, Carol, because I'm not going to wait later on, because we have a long one here. Not a long one, but we have to read chapters 7 to 15. And that's after several passages. Well, not a lot of passages, actually. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 passages, but there's several in each one. Like there's 1 to 13. That could be a whole thing. And then in the same chapter, there's from 26 to 30. So it could be the whole. If that's just about the whole thing, I'm just going to play 6 through, you know, 6 through 12, 15 instead. Moses and Aaron see Pharaoh.
Story number 31. Moses and Aaron see Pharaoh. When Moses returned to Egypt, he told his brother Aaron all about the miracles. And when Moses and Aaron showed the Israelites these miracles, the people all believed that Jehovah was with them. Then Moses and Aaron went to see Pharaoh. They told him, Jehovah, the God of Israel, says, let my people go for 3 days so they can worship me in the wilderness. But Pharaoh answered, I don't believe in Jehovah, and I'm not going to let Israel go. Pharaoh was angry because the people wanted time off from work to worship Jehovah. So he forced them to work even harder. The Israelites blamed Moses for how badly they were treated, and Moses felt sad. But Jehovah told him not to worry. I will make Pharaoh let my people go, Jehovah said. Moses and Aaron went to see Pharaoh again. This time they did a miracle. Aaron threw down his stick, and it became a big snake. But Pharaoh's wise men also threw down sticks, and snakes appeared. But look, Aaron's snake is eating up the snakes of the wise men. Still, Pharaoh would not let the Israelites go. So the time came for Jehovah to teach Pharaoh a lesson. Do you know how he did it? It was by bringing 10 plagues, or great troubles, on Egypt. After many of the plagues, Pharaoh sent for Moses and said, stop the plague and I will let Israel go. But when it would stop, Pharaoh would change his mind. He would not let the people go. But finally, after the 10th plague, Pharaoh sent the Israelites away. Do you know each of the 10 plagues? Turn the page and let's learn about them.
Well, we're going to read these passages first, okay? Then Jehovah said to Aaron, go into the wilderness to meet Moses. So he went and met him at the mountain of the tree. Nope. I didn't want to go over to that. I just want to read it here. And greeted him with a kiss. And Moses told Aaron all the words of Jehovah who had sent him, and all the signs that he had commanded him to do. After that, Moses and Aaron went and gathered all the elders of the Israelites. Aaron told them all the words that Jehovah had spoken to Moses, and he performed the signs before the eyes of the people. At this, the people believed when they heard that Jehovah had turned his attention to the Israelites and that he had seen their affliction. They bowed down and prostrated, prostrated themselves. This is chapter 5, verses 1 through 23. I would just let it play out. I'll let them sing it, play it.
Chapter 5. Afterward, Moses and Aaron went in and said to Pharaoh,
this is what Jehovah, the God of Israel, says. Send my people away, so that they may celebrate a festival to me in the wilderness.
But Pharaoh said,
who is Jehovah, that I should obey his voice to send Israel away? I do not know Jehovah at all, and what is more, I will not send Israel away.
But they said, the God of the Hebrews has communicated with us. Please, We want to make a 3-day journey into the wilderness and sacrifice to Jehovah our God. Otherwise, he will strike us with disease or with the sword.
The king of Egypt replied to them,
Why is it, Moses and Aaron, that you are taking the people away from their work? Return to your labor.
And Pharaoh continued,
Look at how many people of the land there are, and you would have them rest from their labor.
That same day, Pharaoh commanded the taskmasters and their foremen,
You must no longer give straw to the people to make bricks. Let them go and gather straw for themselves. But you must still impose on them the same quota of bricks as they made in the past. Do not reduce it for them, for they are relaxing. That is why they are crying out, We want to go. We want to sacrifice to our God. Make them work harder and keep them busy so that they will not pay attention to lies.
So the taskmasters and their foremen went out and said to the people,
Here is what Pharaoh has said. I am giving you no more straw. Go straw for yourselves wherever you can find it. But your work will not be reduced at all.
Then the people scattered throughout all the land of Egypt to gather stubble for straw.
You must each finish your work every day, just as when straw was provided.
Also the foremen of the Israelites, whom Pharaoh's taskmasters had appointed over them, were beaten. They asked them,
Why did you not reach the quota of bricks that you used to make? It happened both yesterday and today.
So the foreman of the Israelites went in and complained to Pharaoh.
Why are you treating your servants this way? No straw is given to your servants. Yet they are saying to us, Make bricks. Your servants are beaten, but your own people are at fault.
But he said,
You are relaxing. You are relaxing. That is why you are saying, We want to go. We want to sacrifice to Jehovah. So now go. Get back to work. Given to you, but you must still produce your quota of bricks.
Then the foreman of the Israelites saw that they were in serious trouble because of the order, You must not reduce your daily quota of bricks at all. After that, they met up with Moses and Aaron, who were standing there to meet them as they came out from Pharaoh.
May Jehovah look upon you and judge, since you have made Pharaoh and his servants despise us, and you have put a sword in their hand to kill us.
Yes, so.
Then Moses turned to Jehovah and said, Jehovah, why have you afflicted this people? Why have you sent the time that I went in before Pharaoh to speak in your name? He has dealt worse with this people, and you have certainly not rescued your people.
Yes, that was the whole chapter. um, next is the next chapter 6. So let's see. Oh, that's 1 to 13, right? So there. That is 26 to 30. You skip all this. Then you go to 26 and then to 30. Okay.
Chapter 6. So Jehovah said to Moses, Now you will see what I will do to Pharaoh. A mighty hand will force him to send them away, and a mighty hand will force him to drive them out of his land. Then God said to Moses, I am Jehovah. But with regard to my name Jehovah, I did not make myself known to them. I also established my covenant with them, to give them the land of Canaan, the land in which they lived as foreigners. Now I myself have heard the groaning of the people of Israel, whom the Egyptians are enslaving, and I remember my covenant. Therefore say to the Israelites, I am Jehovah, and I will bring you out from under the burdens of the Egyptians and rescue you from their slavery. And I will reclaim you with an outstretched arm and with great judgments. And I will be your people, and I will be your God. And you will certainly know that I am Jehovah your God, who is bringing you out from under the burdens of Egypt. And I will bring you into the land that I swore with an oath to give to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And I will give it to you as something to possess. I am Jehovah. Moses later gave it to the Israelites, but they did not listen to Moses because of their discouragement and because of the harsh slavery. Then Jehovah spoke to Moses, saying, Go in and tell Pharaoh, Egypt's king, that he should send the Israelites away out of his land. However, Moses replied to Jehovah, Look, the Israelites have not listened to me. How will Pharaoh ever listen to me, as I speak with difficulty? But Jehovah again told Moses and Aaron what commands to give to the Israelites and to Pharaoh, Egypt's king, in order to bring the Israelites out of the land of Egypt. These are the heads of the house of their fathers. Now we go down to 26. Aaron and Moses, to whom Jehovah said, Bring the people of Israel out of the land of Egypt, company by company. It was they who spoke to Pharaoh, Egypt's king, to bring the people of Israel out of Egypt. It was this Moses and Aaron. On that day when Jehovah was in the land of Egypt, Jehovah told Moses, I am Jehovah. Speak to Pharaoh, king of Egypt, everything I am speaking to you. And Moses said before Jehovah, Look, I speak with difficulty. So how will Pharaoh ever listen to me? Next is chapter 7. Okay. Got a message from Sela. I can't respond to her right now. But this one's chapter 1 through 13, and then we read the whole chapter after. But that's after the 10 plagues and the crossing the Red Sea. I might just read those both back to back because there's a whole bunch of things we have to read, a whole bunch of chapters we have to read, and a couple passages after that. We'll do the passages before the chapters because then the chapters can just read one after another. This is 1 through 13. Chapter 7. Jehovah then said to Moses, See, I have made you like God to Pharaoh, and Aaron your own brother will become your prophet. You are to repeat everything that I will command you, and Aaron your brother will speak to Pharaoh, and he will send the Israelites away from his land. As for me, I will allow Pharaoh's heart to become obstinate, and I will multiply my signs and my miracles in the land of Egypt. But Pharaoh will not listen to you, and I will lay my hand upon Egypt and bring my multitudes, my people, the Israelites, out of the land with great judgments. And the Egyptians will certainly know that I am Jehovah when I stretch out my hand against Egypt and bring the Israelites out from among them. Moses and Aaron did what Jehovah had commanded them. They did just so. Moses was 80 years old, and Aaron was 83 years old when they spoke to Pharaoh. Jehovah now said to Moses and Aaron, If Pharaoh perform a miracle, then tell Aaron, Take your rod and throw it down before Pharaoh. It will become a big snake. So Moses and Aaron went into Pharaoh and did exactly as Jehovah had commanded. Aaron threw his rod down before Pharaoh and his servants, and it became a big snake. However, Pharaoh summoned the wise men and the sorcerers, and the magic-practicing priests of Egypt also did the same thing with their magic. Each one threw down his rod, and they became big snakes. But Aaron's rod swallowed up their rods. Still, Pharaoh's heart became obstinate.
Sorry.
And he did not listen to them, just as Jehovah had said. Then Jehovah said to Moses, Pharaoh's heart is unresponsive. He has refused to send the people away. Go to Pharaoh in the morning. Look, he is going out to the water. And you should station yourself to meet him by the edge of the Nile River, and take with you in your hand the rod that turned into a serpent. And you must say to him, Jehovah, the God of the Hebrews, has sent me to you. And he says, send my people away, so that they may serve me in the wilderness. But you have not obeyed until now. This is what Jehovah says. By this you will know that I am Jehovah. Here I am striking the water that is in the Nile River with the rod that is in my hand, and it will turn into blood. And the fish that are in the Nile will die, and the Nile will stink, and the Egyptians will find it impossible to drink water from the Nile. Then Jehovah said to Moses, say to Aaron, take your rod and stretch out your hand. We did it. We went right past number 13. Oh, yeah. That's okay. We didn't get to the red part. So now, this is the last one. So now we go to the 10 plagues.
Story number 32. The 10 plagues. Look at the pictures. Each one shows a plague that Jehovah brought on Egypt. In the first picture, you can see Aaron hitting the Nile River with his stick. When he did, the water in the river turned to blood. The fish died, and the river began to stink. Next, Jehovah caused frogs to come up out of the Nile River. They were everywhere, in the ovens, the baking pan, in people's beds, everywhere. In beds. When the frogs died, the Egyptians piled them up in great heaps, and the land stank with them. Then Aaron hit the ground with his stick, and the dust turned into gnats. These are small flying bugs that bite. Oh, yeah, the gnats were the third plague on the land of Egypt. The rest of the plagues hurt only the Egyptians, not the Israelites. The fourth was a plague of big flies that swarmed into the houses of all the Egyptians. Ugh. The fifth plague was on the animals. Many of the cattle and sheep and goats of the Egyptians died. Next, Moses and Aaron took some ashes and threw them into the air. They caused bad sores on the people and the animals. This was the sixth plague. After that, Moses raised his hand toward the sky, and Jehovah sent thunder and hail. It was the worst hailstorm that Egypt ever had. The eighth plague was a large swarm of locusts. Never before that time or since have there been so many locusts. They ate everything that the hail had not destroyed. The ninth plague was of darkness. For 3 days, thick darkness covered the land, but the Israelites had light where they were living. Finally, God told his people to sprinkle the blood of a young goat or a young sheep on their doorposts. Hey, Jenny. Then God's angel passed over Egypt. When the angel saw the blood, he did not kill anyone in that house. But in all the houses where there was no blood on the doorposts, God's angel killed the firstborn ones of both man and animals. This was the 10th plague. After this last plague, Pharaoh told the Israelites to leave. God's people were all ready to go, and that very night they started their march out of Egypt. So, I'm going to go on to the next story.
Because then we can just read 7 through 12. I mean, 7 through 15, actually. Okay?
Story number 33. Crossing the Red Sea. Look at what is happening. That is Moses with his stick stretched out over the Red Sea. Those with him, safely on the other side, are the Israelites. But Pharaoh and all his army are being drowned in the sea. Let's see how this came about. As we learned, Pharaoh told the Israelites to leave Egypt after God brought the 10th plague on the Egyptians. About 600,000 Israelite men left, as well as many women and children. Also, a large number of other people who had become believers in Jehovah left with the Israelites. They all took their sheep and goats and cattle with them. Before they left, the Israelites asked the Egyptians for clothes and for things made of gold and silver. The Egyptians were very much afraid because of that last plague upon them. So they gave the Israelites everything they asked for. After a few days, the Israelites came to the Red Sea. There they rested. In the meantime, Pharaoh and his men began to feel sorry that they had sent the Israelites away. "We have let our slaves go," they said. So Pharaoh changed his mind once more.
Yeah.
He quickly got his war chariot and his army ready. Then he began to chase after the Israelites with 600 special chariots, as well as all the other chariots of Egypt. When the Israelites saw Pharaoh and his army coming after them, they were very much afraid. There was no way to flee. The Red Sea was on one side of them, and here the Egyptians were coming from the other direction. But Jehovah put a cloud between his people and the Egyptians, so the Egyptians were not able to see the Israelites to attack them. Jehovah then told Moses to stretch his stick out over the Red Sea. When he did, Jehovah caused a strong east wind to blow. The waters of the sea were parted, and the waters were held up on both sides.
Awesome.
Then the Israelites began to march through the sea on dry ground. It took hours for the millions of people, with all their animals, to get safely through the sea to the other side. Finally, the Egyptians were able to see the Israelites again. Their slaves were getting away, so they rushed into the sea after them. When they did, God caused the wheels of their chariots to fall off. The Egyptians became very much afraid and began to cry out, "Jehovah's fighting for the Israelites against us. Let's get out of here." But it was too late. This was when Jehovah told Moses to stretch his stick out over the Red Sea, as you saw in the picture. And when Moses did, the walls of water began to come back and cover the Egyptians and their chariots. The whole army had followed the Israelites into the sea, and not one of the Egyptians got out alive. How happy
Goes
all
around, comes
God's
around.
people were to be saved. The men sang a song of thanks to Jehovah, saying, "Jehovah has won a glorious victory. He has thrown the horses and their riders into the sea." Moses' sister Miriam took her tambourine, and all the women followed her with their tambourines. And as they danced with joy, they sang the same song as the men were singing. "Jehovah has won a glorious victory. He has thrown the horses and their riders into the sea." Part 3.
Part 3. Is another one? Oh. Yeah, that's the next one. So now, oh, the other passages are verse requests. So now we'll go back here. So I'm gonna just click on 7 through 12, but it's gonna read up to 15. So let's just sit back and listen. Oh, no.
said to Moses, "See, I have made you like God to Pharaoh, and Aaron your own brother will become your prophet. You are to repeat everything that I will command you, and Aaron your brother will speak to Pharaoh, and he will send the Israelites away from his land. As for me, I will allow Pharaoh's heart to become obstinate, and I will multiply my signs and my miracles in the land of Egypt. But Pharaoh will not listen to you, and I will lay my hand upon Egypt and bring my multitudes, my people, the Israelites, out of the land of Egypt with great judgments. And the Egyptians will certainly know that I am Jehovah when I stretch out my hand against Egypt and bring the Israelites out from among them." Moses and Aaron did what Jehovah had commanded them. They did just so. Moses was 80 years old, and Aaron was 83 years old when they spoke to Pharaoh. Jehovah now said to Moses and Aaron, "If Pharaoh says to you, 'Perform a miracle,' then tell Aaron, 'Take your rod and throw it down before Pharaoh. It will become a big snake.'" So Moses and Aaron went into Pharaoh and did exactly as Jehovah had commanded. Aaron threw his rod down before Pharaoh and his servants, and it became a big snake. However, Pharaoh summoned the wise men and the sorcerers, and the magic-practicing priests of Egypt also did the same thing with their magic. Each one threw down his rod, and they became big snakes. But Aaron's rod swallowed up their rods. Still, Pharaoh's heart became obstinate, and he did not listen to them, just as Jehovah had said. Then Jehovah said to Moses, "Pharaoh's heart is unresponsive. He has refused to send the people away. Go to Pharaoh in the morning. Look, he is going out to the water. And you should station yourself to meet him by the edge of the Nile River, and take with you in your hand the rod that turned into a serpent. And you must say to him, 'Jehovah, the God of the Hebrews, has sent me to you. And he says, send my people away, so that they may serve me in the wilderness. But you have not obeyed until now.' This is what Jehovah says, 'By this you will know that I am Jehovah. Here I am striking the water that is in the Nile River with the rod that is in my hand, and it will turn into blood, and the fish will die, and the Nile will stink, and the Egyptians will find it impossible to drink water from the Nile.' Then Jehovah said to Moses, 'Say to Aaron, take your rod and stretch out your hand over the waters of Egypt, over its rivers, over its canals, over its marshes, and over all its reservoirs, that they may become blood. There will be blood in all the land of Egypt, even in the wooden and stone containers.' Immediately Moses and Aaron did just as Jehovah had commanded. He lifted up the rod and struck the water that was in the Nile River before the eyes of Pharaoh and his servants, and all the water that was in the river was turned into blood. And the fish that were in the river died, and the river began to stink. And the Egyptians were unable to drink water from the Nile, and there was blood throughout the land of Egypt. Nevertheless, the magic-practicing priests of Egypt did the same thing with their secret arts, so that Pharaoh's heart continued to be obstinate, and he did not listen to them, just as Jehovah had said. Then Pharaoh returned to his house, and he did not take this to heart either. So all the Egyptians were digging all around the Nile for water to drink, because they could not drink any water of the Nile. And 7 full days passed after Jehovah struck the Nile. Chapter 8. Then Jehovah said to Moses, "Go into Pharaoh and say to him, 'This is what Jehovah says, send my people away so that they may serve me. If you keep refusing to send them away, I will plague your territory with frogs, and the Nile River will swarm with frogs, and they will come up and enter into your house, into your bedroom, into the houses of your servants and on your people, into your ovens and into your kneading troughs. On you, on your people, and on all your servants, the frogs will come up. Jehovah later said to Moses, "Say to Aaron, stretch out your hand with your rod over the rivers, the Nile canals, and the marshes, and make the frogs come up over the land of Egypt." So Aaron stretched out his hand over the waters of Egypt, and the frogs began to come up and to cover the land of Egypt. However, the magic practicing priests did the same thing by their secret arts, and they too made the frogs come up over the land of Egypt. Pharaoh then called Moses and Aaron and said,
Plead with Jehovah to remove the frogs from me and my people, as I want to send the people away, so that they may sacrifice to Jehovah.
Then Moses said to Pharaoh,
I leave to you the honor of telling me when I should plead to have the frogs removed from you, your servants, your people, and your houses. Only in the Nile River will they be left.
To this he said,
Tomorrow.
So he said,
It will be according to your word, so that you may know that there is no one else like Jehovah our God. The frogs will depart from you, your houses, your servants, and your people. They will be left only in the Nile.
So Moses and Aaron went out from Pharaoh, and Moses pleaded with Jehovah about the frogs that he had brought upon Pharaoh. Then Jehovah did as Moses asked, and the frogs began to die in the houses, the courtyards, and the fields. They were piling them up in countless heaps, and the land began to stink. When Pharaoh saw that there was relief, he hardened his heart, and he refused to listen to them, just as Jehovah had said. Jehovah now said to Moses, Say to Aaron, stretch out your rod and strike the dust of the earth, and it must become gnats in all the land of Egypt. And they did this. Aaron stretched out his hand with his rod and struck the dust of the earth, and the gnats came on man and beast. All the dust of the earth became gnats in all the land of Egypt. The magic practicing priests tried to do the same and produce gnats by their secret arts, but they could not. And the gnats came on man and beast. So the magic practicing priests said to Pharaoh, It is the finger of God. But Pharaoh's heart continued to be obstinate, and he did not listen to them, just as Jehovah had said. Then Jehovah said to Moses, Get up early in the morning and station yourself in front of Pharaoh. Look, he is coming out to the water, and you must say to him, This is what Jehovah has said. Send my people away, so that they may serve me. But if you do not send my people away, I will send on you, your servants and your people, and into your houses the gadfly. And the houses of Egypt will be full of gadflies, and they will even cover the ground they stand on. On that day, I will certainly set apart the land of Goshen, where my people are dwelling. No gadflies will exist there. And by this you will know that I, Jehovah, am here in the land. And I will make a distinction between my people and your people. Tomorrow this sign will take. And Jehovah did so. And heavy swarms of gadflies began to invade the house of Pharaoh and the houses of his servants and all the land of Egypt. The land was ruined by the gadflies. Finally, Pharaoh called Moses and Aaron and said,
Go, sacrifice to your God in the land.
But Moses said,
It is not proper to do so, because what we would sacrifice to Jehovah our God would be detestable to the Egyptians. If we would make a sacrifice that was detestable to the Egyptians right before their eyes, would they not stone us? We will make a 3-day journey into the wilderness and there we will sacrifice to Jehovah our God, just as he has said to us."
Pharaoh now said,
I will send you away to sacrifice to Jehovah your God in the wilderness. Only you must not go so far away. Plead in my behalf.
Then Moses said,
"Now I am going away from you, and I will plead with Jehovah, and the gadflies will depart from Pharaoh, his servants, and his people tomorrow. But Pharaoh must stop trifling with us by refusing to send the people away to sacrifice to Jehovah."
Moses then went out from Pharaoh and pleaded with Jehovah. So Jehovah did according to Moses' word, and the gadflies departed from Pharaoh, his servants, and his people. Not one was left. However, Pharaoh again hardened his heart and did not send the people away.
Pharaoh, let him go.
Chapter 9. So Jehovah said to Moses, "Go into Pharaoh and say to him, 'This is what Jehovah, the God of the Hebrews, has said. Send my people away so that they may serve me. But if you refuse to send them away and you keep holding them, look, Jehovah's hand will come against your livestock in the field. On the horses, the donkeys, the camels, the herd, and the flock, there will be a devastating plague. And Jehovah will certainly make a distinction between the livestock of Israel and the livestock. Nothing that belongs to the Israelites will die.' Moreover, Jehovah set an appointed time, saying, 'Tomorrow Jehovah will do this in the land.' And Jehovah did this on the very next day, and all sorts of livestock of Egypt began to die, but not one of Israel's livestock died. When Pharaoh inquired, look, not so much as one of Israel's livestock had died. Nevertheless, Pharaoh's heart continued to be unresponsive, and he did not send the people away. Jehovah then said to Moses and Aaron, 'Fill both of your hands with soot from a kiln, and Moses must throw it into the air in front of Pharaoh. And it will become a fine dust on all the land of Egypt, and it will become festering boils on man and beast in all the land of Egypt.' So they took soot from a kiln and stood before Pharaoh, and Moses tossed it into the air, and it became festering boils, breaking out on man and beast. The magic practicing priests were unable to stand before Moses because of the boils, for they had developed on the magic practicing priests and on all the Egyptians. But Jehovah allowed Pharaoh's heart to become obstinate, and he did not listen to them, just as Jehovah had told Moses. Then Jehovah said to Moses, 'Get up early in the morning and station yourself in front of Pharaoh, and say to him, "This is what Jehovah the God of the Hebrews has said. Send my people away so that they may serve me. For now I am directing all my blows to strike your heart, your servants, and your people, so that you may know that there is no one like me in all the earth. For by now I could have thrust my hand out to strike you and your people with a devastating plague, and you would have been wiped out from the earth. But for this very reason, to show you my power and to have my name declared in all the earth, are you still behaving arrogantly against my people by not sending them away? Here I will cause a very great hail to rain down tomorrow, about this time, such as has never occurred in Egypt, from the day it was founded until now. Therefore, send word to bring all your livestock and all that is yours in the field under shelter. Every man and beast caught in the field and not brought into the house will die when the hail comes down on them. Anyone among Pharaoh's servants who feared Jehovah's word quickly brought his own servants and his livestock into the houses. But whoever did not take Jehovah's word to heart left his servants and his livestock in the field. Jehovah now said to Moses, "Stretch out your hand toward the heavens, so that hail may come down on all the land of Egypt, on man and beast, and all the vegetation of the field in the land of Egypt." So Moses stretched out his rod toward the heavens, and Jehovah sent thunder and hail, and fire fell down to the earth. And Jehovah kept making it rain down hail on the land of Egypt. There was hail, and there was fire flashing in the midst of the hail. It was very heavy. There had never been any like it in the land since Egypt had become a nation. The hail struck everything in the field throughout the land of Egypt, from man to beast, and it struck down all the vegetation and shattered all the trees of the field. Only in the land of Goshen, where the Israelites were, there was no hail. So Pharaoh sent for Moses and Aaron and said to them,
I have sinned this time. Jehovah is righteous, and I and my people are in the wrong. Plead with Jehovah that there may be an end to God's thunder and hail. Then I will be willing to send you away, and you will not stay any longer.
So Moses said to him,
As soon as I go out of the city, I will spread out my hands before Jehovah. The thunder will stop, and the hail will not continue any longer, so that you may know that the earth belongs to Jehovah. But as for you and your servant, know already that even then you will not fear Jehovah God.
Now the flax and the barley had been struck down, because the barley was in the ear, and the flax had flower buds. But the wheat and the spelt had not been struck down, because they were later crops. Moses now went out of the city from Pharaoh, and spread out his hands before Jehovah, and the thunder and the hail stopped, and the rain quit pouring down on the earth. When Pharaoh saw that the rain, the hail, and the thunder had stopped, he sinned again, and hardened his heart, he as well as his servants. And Pharaoh's heart continued obstinate, and he did not send the Israelites away, just as Jehovah had stated through Moses. Chapter 10. Then Jehovah said to Moses, Go into Pharaoh, for I have allowed his heart and the hearts of his servants to become unresponsive, so that I may display these signs of mine right before him, and in order that you may declare to your sons and your grandsons how severely I have dealt with Egypt, and what signs I have performed among them. And you will certainly know that I am Jehovah. So Moses and Aaron went into Pharaoh and said to him,
This is what Jehovah, the God of the Hebrews, has said. How long will you refuse to submit to me? Send my people away, so that they may serve me. For if you keep refusing to send my people away, here I am bringing locusts within your boundaries tomorrow. And they will cover the surface of the earth, and it will not be possible to see the ground. They will eat up what escaped the hail and was left for you, and they will eat all your trees that are growing in the field. They will kill your houses, the houses of all your servants, and the houses of all the...
I like to apologize for me nodding off. I am sorry. I apologize. I'm sorry, Jehovah. I'm sorry.
to an extent that your fathers and your grandfathers never saw, from the time they have been in this land until today.
With that he turned and went out from Pharaoh. Then Pharaoh's servants said to him,
How long will this man continue to menace us? Send the men away so that they may serve Jehovah their God.
Do you not yet realize that Egypt has been ruined?
So Moses and Aaron were brought back to Pharaoh.
Oh, serve Jehovah your God. But just who will be going?
Then Moses said,
We will go with our young people, our old people, our sons, our daughters, our sheep, and our cattle, because we will hold a festival to Jehovah.
He said to them,
If I ever send you and your children away, then Jehovah is indeed with you. It is clear that you intend to do something evil. No, only your men may go and serve Jehovah, for that is what you requested.
With that, they were driven out from before Pharaoh. Jehovah now said to Moses, Stretch out your hand over the land of Egypt for the locusts, so that they may come up over the land of Egypt and eat up all the vegetation of the land, everything that the hail has let remain. At once Moses stretched, and Jehovah caused an east wind to blow on the land, all that day and all night. The morning came, and the east wind brought the locusts. And the locusts came up over all the land of Egypt, and settled down on the whole territory of Egypt. It was extremely severe. Never before had there been so many locusts, nor would there ever be so many again. They covered the surface of the entire land, and the land grew dark with them. They devoured all the vegetation of the land, and all the fruit of the trees that the hail had left. Nothing green was left on the trees, or on the vegetation of the field, in all the land of Egypt. So Pharaoh quickly called Moses and Aaron and said,
I have sinned against Jehovah your God and against you. Now please, pardon my sin, just this once, and plead with Jehovah your God that he just remove this deadly plague from upon me.
So he went out from Pharaoh and pleaded with Jehovah. Then Jehovah caused the wind to shift, and it became a very stiff west wind, and it carried the locusts away and drove them into the Red Sea. Not a single locust remained in all the territory of Egypt. However, Jehovah allowed Pharaoh's heart to become obstinate, and he did not send the Israelites away. Jehovah then said to Moses, Stretch out your hand toward the heavens, so that there may be darkness over the land of Egypt, a darkness so thick that it can be felt. Moses immediately stretched out his hand toward the heavens, and there was a dense darkness in all the land of Egypt for 3 days. They did not see one another, and none of them got up from where they were for 3 days. But all the Israelites had light in their dwellings. Pharaoh then called Moses and said,
Go, serve Jehovah. Only your sheep and your cattle will remain behind. Even your children may go with you.
But Moses said,
You yourself will also provide us with sacrifices and burnt offerings, and we will offer them to Jehovah our God. Our livestock will also. Not an animal will be allowed to remain, because we will be using some of them to worship Jehovah our God, and we do not know what we will offer in worship to Jehovah until we arrive there.
So Jehovah allowed Pharaoh's heart to become obstinate, and he did not consent to send them away. Pharaoh said to him,
Get out of my sight. Make sure that you do not try to see my face again. For on the day you see my face, you will die.
To this Moses said,
Just as you have spoken, I will not try to see your face again.
Chapter 11. Then Jehovah said to Moses, One more plague I am going to bring upon Pharaoh in Egypt. After that, he will send you away from here. When he does send you away, he will literally drive you out of here. Now tell the people that all the men and women should ask their neighbor for articles of silver and of gold. And Jehovah gave the people favor in the eyes of the Egyptians. Moreover, Moses himself had become highly esteemed in the land of Egypt, among Pharaoh's servants and among the people. Moses then said,
This is what Jehovah has said. About midnight, I am going out into the midst of Egypt, and every firstborn in the land of Egypt from the firstborn of Pharaoh, who was sitting on his throne, to the firstborn of the slave girl who was working at the handmill, and every firstborn of the livestock. Throughout all the land of Egypt, there will be a great outcry, such as has never occurred, nor will ever occur again. But not even a dog will bark at the Israelites, at the men or their livestock, so that you may know that Jehovah can make a distinction between and the Israelites. And all your servants will certainly come down to me and
I am stopping this at number 12 because I believe it's just too much to read in one day. And we'll read from, no, we're stopping at 11. We're stopping after this one. 12 through 15 will be read tomorrow. Oh.
prostrate themselves to me, saying, "Go, you and all the people who follow you." And after that, I will go out.
With that, he went out from Pharaoh in the heat of anger. Jehovah then said to Moses, Pharaoh will not listen to you, in order for my miracles to be multiplied in the land of Egypt. Moses and Aaron performed all these miracles before Pharaoh, but Jehovah allowed Pharaoh's heart to become obstinate, so that he did not send the Israelites away from his land.
And that will be it for today. I will read, I thought he already left. That's scary. I will read Carol's first request, even though I don't have a picture on here. So let's go to Bible. So let's go to Matthew. That's here. Kristen Greaves. I'm not saying it yet because, I knew it. I knew it. I just knew it. I just knew it. I knew there was no. Carol just knows 28 verse 30. So I'm not. That's why I did not see it. Next is Luke chapter 6. Just two of them down here. I'm not saying either one of them just in case. Yeah, that one's okay. I'll read those. Verse 20 and 23. Yes, I did, Jen. That was the first thing, and for Tiffany as well. Go get them. Okay, verse 20 is the verse is Sorry, I said go get them. Ivy, don't. All right, so chapter 20, Luke chapter 6, verse 20 is, and he looked up at his disciples and began to say, happy are you who are poor, for yours is the kingdom of God. Rejoice, number 23 is, rejoice in that day and leap for joy. For look, your reward is great in heaven, for those are the same things fathers used to do to the prophets. You're welcome, Jenny. And that is going to be it for today. Sometimes I overread and I go late. But I should have known. Maybe we could read it during a normal live. Who knows? So I'll either read these chapters later, let them play later, as we're coloring and stuff like that, or we'll read them tomorrow. So love, don't judge. Peace out.